Welcome, everybody, out to Eventide Brewing. Soccer Down here is live on the air, raising some money for the kids of Soccer in the Streets. Thanks for coming out. I'm Jason Longshore, joined right now by Jessica Sharman from Soccer in the Streets. Why are we here, Jess?
So we are here today launching a very, very special fundraiser that we have going on this Sunday, our Atlanta Champions League, one of our 4 major fundraisers for Soccer in the Streets. We're raising a lot of money, and that money, most importantly, is going to our organization. Now, we believe that in America we have a huge problem with youth sports. Soccer is extremely expensive in this country, and that hinders so many people from being able to play. So what we're doing is filling the gap, because we believe every single kid deserves a chance to play and learn from the game. As you know, Jason, Soccer in the Streets is doing great work in communities all across Atlanta, and every single one of you here is helping us with that mission just by drinking beer and having a good time.
It's pretty cool to help the kids by drinking beer. You know, I mean, that's what we do. We try to combine these things here. It always helps. When you have an extra beer, you're helping a kid play soccer. What could be worse than that?
That's not controversial at all, is it?
You know, we're not having the kids drink. We're drinking for the kids to be able to play. That's the whole point here.
So keep drinking beer is the message we're trying to send.
Message, yes.
And the beer's great. Thank you to Eventide for having us. We're really happy to be here. Anyone that's listening online, you've still got plenty of time to get down here. We'll be here till 9 p.m. So if you want to beat the journey home, head down to Eventide, drink a beer, and 10% of all proceeds will go to Soccer in the Streets.
So that's one way you can help the kids, is drinking beer, buying beer. You can also join the raffle, and this is a pretty sweet raffle. We have an unbelievable grand prize from Eventide. Thank you for the donation. And what do people get a chance to win?
So you have a chance to win a party hosted at Eventide, and it's not just any party. You will get 90 free beers to share with your friends, a 4-hour sitting here at Eventide, 90 free beers. You do have to drink those free beers in 4 hours, so I don't recommend you just inviting yourself. You probably want to bring a few guests to consume those beers.
Go ahead and schedule a lift as well.
Yes, we don't condone drinking.
No. We don't condone drinking that many beers and driving. No, not at all. Get a Lyft, get an Uber, whatever it takes.
Actually, they do 50% off Lyft here, so I think we're going to promote Lyft. 50% of Lyft on your way home from Eventide. So actually, if you're still planning to come over today, get a Lyft in.
Get a Lyft over, get a Lyft back. You're all set. Raffle tickets are 1 for $5, 5 tickets for $20, 20 tickets for $50, and 50 tickets for $100.
I fancy those odds, don't you?
Those are pretty good odds. You buy 50 tickets, you're in pretty good shape. All right, the Women's World Cup kicks off on Friday. We're going to get into some predictions here. I think Kelly Francis is still going through the bracket and trying to figure out who's making the quarterfinals.
Kelly's going through her flight of beer.
There's no telling who she's going to have in the final then. We'll have to wait and see what she gets to when she gets to the final. I know you're a little biased towards a team
just a little bit.
Has a pretty big rivalry match to kick this thing off, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously coming from England, there's only one team in my mind that's going to win it. We had a pretty good start to our preparations. We've kind of flopped a little bit. Anyone that follows the women's game knows that England lost 1-0 to New Zealand. Bit of an underdog story there. But we play Scotland. Now, again, Americans don't always know this, but England and Scotland, they're not the best friends. So we're a little bit worried about that one. And if England loses to Scotland, I don't think I'll ever live that down.
What do you think about England's chances? I think a lot of people have them as a top 4, potentially a finalist.
I think we have a great chance. I was fortunate enough to go to the She Believes Cup. Got to see England take on the USA. They were actually the more convincing of the two sides. I think we were unlucky to tie that game. For me, as much as the loss to New Zealand was a concern, I think it was the right kick up the butt that England needed, the right motivating kick, and I think we have a great chance. My biggest fear is France, obviously, the home nation. You've always got that extra motivation behind you when you're on home soil, but this is England's best chance by far, and the reason we have that chance is because we're investing in something so important that is women's game. The professional leagues are really pushing and growing the soccer for women, and I'm excited to see how we can do. And yes, I'm biased, but I'm hopeful we'll make a final.
I think I've got semifinals, and then we'll get into our predictions.
Are we going to lose on penalties?
Well, it's England. Probably losing on penalties, yes. But no, I've got semifinals. It's the most open Women's World Cup we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so exciting that any team really has a chance. Again, we saw that in the She Believes Cup. Brazil, Japan, England, USA, you have so much quality in it. And, I mean, just look at the U20 Men's World Cup.
Right.
Yesterday, Argentina knocked out by Mali on penalties. Who would have called that one?
Yep.
And that's what's exciting about knockout soccer. Anyone can win a game.
Yeah, we were getting into it on our Soccer Down Here Women's World Cup preview, and you look at some of the newcomers to the tournament this time. Jamaica, first Caribbean nation to be in it. Bunny Shaw is a player that you will want to watch in this Women's World Cup. Chile is a team that has played the U.S. pretty tight in friendlies, and this is Chile's first tournament. I could see Chile or Jamaica potentially getting to the knockout rounds.
And then you've got teams like Spain that have started to recently invest in the women's game, and it's showing. And with more professional female teams growing, the competition just gets tighter. It used to be that the USA was a powerhouse. Growing up in England, the USA was the only place you could go if you wanted to play professionally, and that's not the case anymore. So this World Cup is going to be a great advert for female game, and I'm just excited for everyone to follow it. And yes, the Gold Cup's going on. Yes, Copa America's going on. But if you turn over to the women's soccer, you're not going to be let down.
No, not at all. The talent is off the charts. The technical ability, I think that's the biggest difference I've noticed over the last 4 years. It's not the old school kick and run, the U.S. style of being the biggest, the strongest,
Athletes.
the fastest. It's soccer players. Go watch the Spanish team. The Spanish Women's World Cup team, that's my hipster team in this tournament. They're going to be a ton of fun to watch. Super technical, super talented.
And then you have to mention Brazil, and you've got someone like Marta who technically could compete with any man on the field. And you've just got to watch the women's game for what it is. Of course, physiologically, you're not going to be the same athlete. You're not going to grow the same muscle mass. You're not going to be as fast. But when it comes to playing the game with skill and technicality, it can be far superior. There can be more tactics. There can be more fair game. I know that's the one that's used a lot, but it's a beautiful, fairer game. I feel like there's less gamesmanship potentially.
Well, Colombia is not in the tournament this time around. And if you remember the U.S.-Colombia matches last time, a little spicy.
You get that with Colombians. Trust me, I should know.
I know. It's going to be a fun tournament. Best player for England. Who is your must-watch if you are new to the English team? Who should you watch?
I love Fran Kirby.
Okay.
I actually played with Fran for 2 years at Reading. She's an exceptional forward. She's kind of like a Messi player. She's very small, close to the ground, but her finishing is impeccable. And then you've got to look at Steph Houghton as a captain. Yeah. Absolutely incredible, a leader, strong at the back, defensive presence, always willing to put in a slide tackle, put her body on the line, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for it.
Phil Neville said Lucy Bronze is the best player in the world. What do you think?
I think she's brilliant if he plays her in her known position as a defender, but sometimes he likes to push her into other positions.
She's that good. You want to get her forward when you can.
She's brilliant. And honestly, when you say that, look at that. We've got 3 different players that we're highlighting as incredible. The squad depth is what's going to change this tournament for us, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And the Women's World Cup kicks off on Friday with the hosts, France, in the first match. I think a lot of people have France making the final. Yeah,
you have to. When you're on home soil, it is a little bit more pressure, but France are incredible. We saw them destroy the USA. Would that be fair?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
absolutely.
they were all over the USA in that game. So I think having their home fans behind them, I'm actually really interested to see what the turnouts are for these games. I think it's going to be magnificent, and you have to back the team that has the most fans behind them because they're the 12th man is a real saying. When you have people cheering you on, it does give you that push over the line, and I think France will see it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see if Kelly's got picks yet. She got paper and pen now, and I think there might be a calculator involved.
Soccer's confusing.
It's really confusing. With third-place teams making the knockout round, it's tough. Without looking at the bracket, who would your best 4 teams be in this tournament?
France.
Yep.
England.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, other than that, that's I think Brazil.
Okay.
I think they could be they're an underdog. Yes, but I think they might shake things up for the event. Ooh. I think it's so close to tell. There's so many teams that could do well.
There's so many that could knock each other out in the quarters as well. I mean, you're set up the way the bracket is for a U.S.-France
and that's why I don't
final.
say USA.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think that when it comes to a USA-France battle, and I think the game will be in Paris, right?
It will be in Paris.
A France versus USA game in Paris, with the fact that they lost in that friendly, you have to put your money on France. So I don't see the U.S. making it past that quarterfinal if they end up together.
I don't either. And you're looking at potentially a round of 16 game for the U.S. against Spain, which is
tough.
a pushover.
I mean, it was only 1-0,
1-0
right?
in Spain for
and
the U.S.
Spain had a lot of pressure going forward.
Did.
They're just young and inexperienced in a way at that stage, and the U.S. kind of physically put them over the line, but I think Spain played the better soccer.
You're going to have upsets in this tournament, and the U.S. has won. I mean, I think, when we listen to the local media and we hear about the U.S., you're expected to dominate. What is maybe the biggest concern for you watching the United States as they get ready for the Women's World Cup?
Goalkeeper,
really?
And again, I always say that, but I just think I'm always harking on the goalkeeper. What can I say?
It's the first time since 1991 that you haven't had Brianna Scurry or Hope Solo.
Exactly, and I think they become so over-dependent on having a quality goalkeeper that leads from the back that it's going to be a problem, and it affects your whole squad when you don't have a quality goalkeeper, because your defenders in front don't trust you.
Yep.
Your midfielders and your forwards are in the mental state that you're always looking to concede a goal, and I think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the tactics, too. I don't know if Jill Ellis is completely settled on the way to play, and that's really concerning considering they were knocked out in the quarters of the Olympics 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. It feels like we haven't progressed since then.
No, and I think what's happened is potentially they've plateaued, the USA, and everyone else is on an uphill climb. Mm-hmm. And as more and more countries have the professional game, they have women that are training every single day. The USA is no longer an anomaly.
No.
They're just the same as everyone else, and the other teams are potentially coached with someone that knows their players better.
So let me ask you this. As we're talking women's soccer with Jess Sharman from Soccer in the Streets, there's been a lot of talk about the NWSL and growth and what they need to do next. Do you think Atlanta is ready for an NWSL team?
100%, yes.
Where would you have them play?
Oof.
That's the question that
I think you have to be careful with it, because you want to play it somewhere with a capacity that is always going to fill it. You don't want to be at a Benz where there's an echo.
Not on a regular
I don't
basis.
see us attracting that, but I think they could play at the Proving Ground.
I
think they could play at Kennesaw. It was designed as a female stadium, as you know. It was at first for the Beat. Then it played the Kennesaw women's soccer team. I had the privilege actually playing in that stadium before. It's a great venue. And as much as, I'm not going to lie, it would suck playing up there for the commuters, I think that it's a good venue. And also from an Atlanta United standpoint, it's good marketing. You're putting the women's team on the same level, so to say. You're saying, you know what, this is just as important as our USL team.
And you have it like kind of in between, because I think there are some special games that you could do at the Benz.
Oh, absolutely.
You could do a doubleheader at the Benz. How amazing would that be to go out and do a doubleheader day at the Benz with Atlanta and Orlando, and then Atlanta United Women and Orlando Pride?
And I like the name you just gave them. It better be Atlanta United Women if they have a team.
If they can get this whole Nike Adidas thing sorted out, then you can do it. That's the only stumbling block.
Maybe it'll be Atlanta Ladies, just something like that.
Something just a little different.
Don't put something too over feminine in front of that name, because it will kill us. But I agree. I think you've seen how pre-games can draw in the Benz. There was a good turnout for the World Cup final. There was a decent turnout for the Champions League final.
Yeah.
People will show. I think what's so special about Atlanta United as a team is people will support anything with that badge on, whether it's a unified team. We saw an amazing turnout for the unified host game. Whether it's the USL team, still great crowds for a USL. Anything that has an Atlanta United badge on, people will purchase. So I know, I can guarantee there's such a demand for this female team, and I just hope and pray it comes.
Yeah, I'm hearing some whispers, but nothing concrete.
I mean,
just
aren't
yet.
they're building a new facility, right?
They did just buy some land. Just saying, The
training ground's big too. I was there today.
Yeah.
They've got some space for a female team. We don't take up that much room.
Well, there's some things that need to happen first, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Atlanta United with a women's team pretty soon.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. It deserves one.
Yeah, it needs to happen. It needs to happen for the progress of the game as a whole, because I think what Atlanta United's done really well, and I want you to speak to this because not everybody knows how involved Atlanta United is with soccer in the streets. They've done so much in really planting the flag for soccer in the city on a number of levels. I mean, you have a professional team doing it the right way. That's an exciting event, an exciting day out. You have the academy developing young talent. You have community programs, getting out and introducing the game. You have the unified team. What does Atlanta United do for soccer in the streets specifically?
I mean, Atlanta United is a huge partner of ours. Arthur Blank truly believes in what we're doing. They've been a huge funder on a monetary stage, which is obviously important. But the most important thing is it's bringing a love of soccer to Atlanta that maybe wasn't previously there, and that is opening people's eyes to the issue that is the pay-to-play model. Before Atlanta United, of course, there were people that are interested in the game, but potentially they weren't quite as woke to the problem. They didn't realize that there was such a need for soccer, and potentially they didn't understand that there are kids that can't afford to play. It's not like many other sports where there are programs for free. Right. We were kind of the only one out there, and finally Atlanta United has highlighted this issue, and they've been such a great supporter. Anyone that goes to games saw on the Halo board just the other day, there was a huge feature on Soccer in the Streets. Our kids were on the big screen. Yeah. They give us free tickets plenty of times. They create sort of a supporters group that I can't speak highly enough of all the supporters groups for how much they do for us. They're our biggest funders in crowdfunding. They're our biggest supporters in volunteering, and those supporters groups have really changed the role of Soccer in the Streets. And I know you can speak from before Soccer in the Streets. I can say from now, in the current, Atlanta United has changed the game when it comes to our fundraising, when it comes to our support. The players love what we're doing. Anyone on Twitter might have seen Julian Gressel in a picture with me a little while ago. Potentially,
I saw that. I was going to ask you.
Potentially, Julian and I might be doing something special. I know that that's going to be launched fairly soon. That was a really difficult brunch to be on. I wanted to take a selfie so bad. I'm like, oh my God, it's Julian Gressel.
Got to play it cool.
I had to play it cool, but great guy, and he believes in what we're doing, and he really wants to help. So awesome. What Atlanta United has done is raise an awareness for us, both to the fans, but not only the fans, but to the players. And that is such a beautiful thing to be a part of.
It's massive. And one thing, if people don't know, Atlanta United plays in this tournament. They played in this tournament before they had a name, when it was just MLS Atlanta. And I watched personally Arthur Blank with a visor turned around backwards handing out waters to Darren Eales and Carlos Bocanegra as they're coming off the field. The thing that they do with this event this year that's so special is the Atlanta United supporters groups are raising money for their team in the event. Atlanta United as a club is matching that up to $10,000.
Yeah, and that's why they're winning. I'm going to tell you that right now. Atlanta United is winning because they have some fantastic supporters groups behind them. All four of them are brilliant, but I have to give a special shout out to Terminus Legion and Footy Mob. TL and Footy Mob have done so much to raise funds right now. We've also had a donation from Resurgence, so that's been brilliant. And what's so nice is every one of those supporters groups is believing in us, but the Atlanta United are rewarding them for believing in such a good cause. And that's what supporters groups are all about. It's a family, but it's also about service. And we couldn't ask for better service than from those supporters groups.
Absolutely. The name United, a lot of people kind of wondered about that when it was brought up, but it has truly been brought to life with the way that Atlanta United functions. I think you have to go sell some raffle tickets.
Yeah, so just a quick shout out. Raffle tickets are available. Remember, you've got 90 free beers if you're at home.
93.
90 free.
Okay. 90 free. I got it. I was like 93.
90
That's weird.
free.
Okay.
That would be a weird number.
I mean, I'll take 3 more.
I'll get the extra 3.
Yeah.
If you're at home, you can donate online. Jason has pinned the tweet, I believe, where you can click on the link. You're going to donate and then put in the comment section, hashtag ATLCL. And if you're in person, come see us. We've got a square. So if you don't have cash, that's not an excuse.
Cash, card, whatever, we can make this work. You can benefit the kids by drinking beers tonight, but you can also benefit the kids and try to win a whole bunch of more beers.
Hashtag for the kids.
Hashtag for the kids. Jess, thank you.
Thank you. I'll be back later, I'm sure.
Let's yeah, definitely. Let's see if Kelly's got picks yet.
I have finished my bracket.
All right.
It took a lot of John telling me
rules and regulations.
BEF 3 versus 2D, and yeah, I think a lot of people will be very mad at me in this room, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, It's a tough draw. All right, so Women's World Cup kicks off Friday.
Yes.
How excited are you for this year's edition?
Well, this cycle has probably been the best World Cup cycle for women that we've ever seen for the sport for women in general. So the U.S. has had, even though John doesn't like this word, the Goliath of soccer.
They've been the Goliath.
They've been the Goliath of soccer. They've dominated each year. Yeah, exactly. They've dominated each year. It's been this thing where no matter how good the other teams are, they just never could quite match up to the U.S. women's.
Right.
But now, because of the investment in women's soccer around the world, we're seeing a huge growth that's now been reflected on these national teams. So you see France with their youth and their speed.
Yep.
Same with Jamaica with their speed. You see Spain, which is normally a powerhouse, not necessarily matching with the rest of the top leagues, quote unquote, this year round, but they can still offer a punch if you get them in the right place. I mean, what we're looking at right now for the Women's World Cup is probably going to be one of the most exciting World Cups we've seen, and I actually compare that to the men's.
Yeah.
Because every team in some way is on par with the other. So it's a very level playing field, and pretty much, and this is one of the things that I love about soccer, is that anything can happen.
And you've got some different styles, too. And I think the thing about the women's game that when people want to say, well, I don't want to watch that because it's not like this, I think it was because a lot of times the style was the same. It was pretty direct, pretty over the top, kick and run, kind of basic. That's not the case anymore. If you're not watching games and you're not seeing Spain's technique and possession-oriented style, France getting out on the counterattack and using the flanks, you're seeing so many different ways of playing now with the women's game. It is on par with the men's.
It is absolutely on par with the men's. And not only that, but you're going to see a lot of up-and-coming players, youth women, who will absolutely blow you away. And I think that's, to me, is going to help grow this game exponentially, is after this World Cup when they realize, wow, these women can ball out. And that's been the thing that's been hiding most of the time, is that people are like, well, women can't compare to men and the speed and the technical ability when they go to box. But you watch the counterattack on France, and there's no way that you can't see a resemblance.
You look at the goal Marta scored against the U.S. in 2007 is one of the best goals I've ever seen, period. I don't care, male, female, young, old, doesn't matter. The back heel around Tina Ellington and the goal, it's just one of those iconic moments. Soccer. And I think that's the thing about the women's game in soccer that has the potential, maybe even more so than basketball, which is still roughly the same game, but you don't have the above-the-rim play.
Yep.
Women's soccer, the game, if you watch the men, you can watch the women, and you get the same things out of it. You can talk tactics. You can talk individual talent. You can talk speed. You can talk power. It's the same game.
Yeah. No. So for me, I try to watch as equal amount parts of women's game as I do men's games. Unfortunately, just because of access to the matches, I watch more men's soccer than I do watch women's. But one of the goals that still sticks with me is Carly Lloyd's midfield shot.
Yep.
In the last World Cup. That's a goal that you remember because it was so ballsy in a way. And that's one of the things that, like, yeah, we don't have balls, but we know how to use them.
Okay, the German national team anthem.
Thank
this
you.
time.
You're welcome. But it's so appropriate.
Yeah.
It really honestly is. And sometimes I find that women play with a little bit more grit than men do, because I've seen women get hacked. Absolutely hacked. And I know myself that when I play, if I get hacked and I have the ability to keep going, I'm still going. And sometimes I feel like that may or may not be lost in the men's sport because they're taught, get the foul, go down, that sort of thing. But, I would agree with that. I would agree with it. Marcel would disagree with me. But, in the hindsight, it in my opinion, I feel like women do play with more grit and more passion sometimes. And this is what I think we're going to see coming up with this World Cup. And I especially said this to John. I think Jamaica is a dark horse.
Yeah.
This, along with Chile, they're being their first World Cup, they're going to go, I'm going to use the word again, they're going balls out. They are 100% going to go for everything they could possibly go for, and they're going to leave it on that pitch every game. Go ahead.
Since when have you bit your tongue when it comes to what you're thinking?
It's true.
I don't know. That's very true. I guess I'm trying to be apropos because it's for like kids, but
There's
balls
a few
out
kids.
for the kids, guys.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Don't. Because that's one thing I can take back.
Yeah.
I can take that one back.
Yeah, watch
Sorry.
that one. All right, let's talk about the U.S. You mentioned Carly Lloyd. She is the super sub now.
She is.
You have about 6 or 7 attackers for the U.S. that could start for just about anybody in the world. How does Jill Ellis make all of this work?
I think it depends on who they're playing. And I think that Jill Ellis knows tactically who to place where. Tobin Heath is incredibly gifted with her feet.
Tobin Heath has some of the most swagger and sauce of any soccer player in the world.
You'd put her 1v1 with anybody, and I literally mean anybody, and she will probably outplay them.
Yeah. Tobin Heath technically is one of the most gifted soccer players in the world.
Yes.
Gender doesn't matter with technique. She's
And
that
then,
good.
and then if we want to talk about vision, Megan Rapinoe can pick out a pass. Like as you would see those like karate movies where they can like stick a fly from a wall, that sort of thing. I mean, she's accurate on her pass. Her vision is spectacular. So when you've got Megan and Tobin on the wings, I mean, that is dangerous for any country, honestly. It really is. And so when you see the Women's World Cup go around this year for U.S., you think, of course, again, we're unstoppable. But I don't know. I mean,
goals and attack, yeah, it's as good as it gets. But
yes, there's a huge
there's
but there.
another part of the field, and the defense is a little concerning.
Yeah, Sarah Brock's been there for a very long time. She's a veteran. But sometimes her legs get the best of her, and that can be an issue. I'm going to have to go again with Jess on the goalkeeper.
Yep.
We, for the first time, I feel like, than I've ever seen a Women's World Cup, we're not playing with a number 1 goalkeeper anymore.
No, nobody's claimed it.
So-
it's a listen there. I kind of think Ashlyn Harris is the better goalkeeper.
I do too. I would agree
I
with
feel
that, but
more
that's not
secure
who
with
gets the
Harris,
start
but
most of
she's
the time.
not getting the starts, so she's not ready to be the number 1 going into this. My biggest concern is I feel like the most important player for the U.S. is Julie Ertz. And you're going to get stuck in a position where the back line's falling apart and you've got to move Julie Ertz to the back line where she's played center back for a long stretch of her career, and then you don't have a holding midfielder.
Correct.
You don't have a ready-made replacement right there, and that's where things fall apart for me.
I would agree, and I think Julie Ertz is actually best utilized in that holding
Yeah, I do.
midfield. I think she
Yeah.
reads the game incredibly well. She's got an eye for what the opposition is doing, same like Michael Parkhurst does. She's got
Yep.
that vision. She's able to cut down a counter real quickly. That's one of the things that I love the most about her being in the midfield, but I do agree with you. She's got to drop back to center back. I don't think it's her most favorable position.
No, it's not, but she might be one of the best 2 center backs to play. So
Correct.
you get stuck, like, where can you afford to put her? And you don't really have a lot of depth in those types of roles. That's the biggest problem. When you look at the U.S., one of the games that stood out to me in the run-up to the World Cup is the Australia match. U.S. scored 5. That's awesome because this attack is ridiculous. They gave up 3.
Yep.
And Australia is a team that can win this World Cup. And if you give up 3 goals in a World Cup match,
Especially
you're probably
if you
not
get
advancing.
if you give Sam Kerr room.
Sam Kerr is one of the best.
Yeah, you're lost, 100%.
I actually have a final. I have the U.S. losing in the quarterfinals to France.
That's so funny. So do I.
I think a lot of people do. But
I'm so sorry, everybody in this room. As much as I love the U.S. and I love our ladies,
it's a horrible draw.
They're not making it.
Because Spain is going to take a lot out of the U.S. in a round of 16 match,
Absolutely.
too. I've got France going to the final. I have France and Australia in the final, and France winning
You
it.
do?
Yep. And I have England beating the Netherlands in the 3rd place match.
Okay. My final 4
Okay.
is England, France, Netherlands, and Germany.
Okay.
For me, I see the final being a France-Germany game,
Okay.
although the Netherlands is a hot
See,
contender.
I actually have the Dutch, because I think we picked the group differently, because I have the Dutch and the Germans in the round of, I have in the quarterfinals. So I have them matching up in the quarters. and I have the Dutch beating the Germans in the quarters. I think that's my upset.
I have the Germans beating Brazil in the quarters.
Okay. Yeah, I had Brazil as like a third-place team going through. So we had our groups in order different. That's okay.
Well, I did too. I mean, I actually had Jamaica being the second in Group C.
Okay.
And I think Jamaica would actually upset Norway
Yeah,
to have to go against England.
Wow.
In the quarterfinals.
That would be a game.
England and Jamaica?
Yeah.
Absolutely it would be. Could you imagine that speed against England? Woo.
That'd be a fun one.
Jess might not like it, but it'd be a fun one to watch. But no, those are my four. But I do think it's going to end up being a Germany-France final, and that's my call on it.
Okay. France winning?
France. Oh yes,
Okay.
100%.
All right. Let's move it over to Atlanta United. We got a little bit of a break from league play right now. Last month was ridiculous, 6-2. Since the Columbus game, 8-3. How do you feel about the Five Stripes at not quite the halfway mark?
Well, it's this weird feeling, honestly, because I know logically in my brain we're actually on a really good plane, right? So we are, which is also one of the weirdest things. Like the MLS pundits should be talking about us to where we've done just a really incredible feat.
I haven't
18
had enough
points in
beers
24
for that comment yet.
18 possible points out of 24, and the compression that we've had, and we're not talking about it.
You know, 6th in the power rankings. They're not that great. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
but who's above NYCFC?
NYC, who draws every game they play, yes.
Yeah, for sure. And they should definitely be above us. That makes complete
absolutely.
sense. Complete sense.
Red Bulls, okay, they beat Atlanta in
Yeah.
that match. That's fine.
For
But
sure.
sixth,
Yeah, sure.
sixth,
So logically, I'm on this thing. Emotionally, I'm still adhering my attention to the match to change from what I expected from a Tata Martino type system to what I'm now seeing with the players in a Frank de Boer system, and when they're getting comfortable. It's not going to be the same kind of attack, the kind of immediate counterattack that we've seen in Tata's system. But I do think in some ways with the possession play, with us holding it up towards their third and creating the chances that we're creating, we're going to see those goals come. Like he's always said, the goals are going to come.
These last two games.
They have.
I mean,
they have.
The first goal against Chicago, that is what Atlanta United will be scoring like this season. I think
and
that
was
is the prototype.
That was beautiful combination play. That
Started
was probably
with Kazan.
it was the best team goal we've had this season between Escobar and Pitti and Joseph. It's fantastic.
All right, you got to tell me because I'm in the booth. I don't get to hear everything out of the crowd. Are people finally singing the Pitti Martinez song?
Yes, I will gladly say that. Yes. So,
thank you.
On the last two matches, the Pitti Martinez chant has been started. It has held for a little bit of time. Unfortunately, I came in a little bit behind halftime on the Chicago match, and I just came into the end of the Pitti chant, so I didn't get to join in on that one. But the drummers know the beat, so they know the way the song and the rhythm is supposed to go. It's just a matter of getting all of the capos familiar, and then with the capos are familiar, then you can move that to all of the supporters.
Okay, so we're getting the Pitti song going.
Yes.
Joseph has his song. We're good there. Who needs a song? Who doesn't have a song that needs a song right now?
Really? You think Barco?
Who?
Okay, so John said Barco. In my opinion, I think we should figure out some sort of and I'm once again for the kids, badass song.
Yes.
For Franco Escobar.
Yes, that was exactly who I was hoping you would say.
And this is one of the things that everybody keeps talking about, quote unquote, playoff Escobar. But what we're realizing is that playoff Escobar is just Escobar, which is really kind of fun when you think about it. This is the kind of right back that Frank wants. He can bomb up that right field. He can get back for defense. He's dynamic. He can play 1v1.
Yep.
He can link up for combination. I mean, when you really look at how little we paid for him and how much we're getting back, it just is once again a credit to our scouting, because New Old Boys was just sitting on him.
Played 20 times maybe for their first team.
Maybe. And he is just lighting this team up. We are a different team with that guy on the pitch. And it'll be interesting to see what adjustment is made when he's not in the next game, obviously for yellow card accumulation, but that's a player that needs more attention, that needs more credit.
Everybody wants to say that Kamar Lawrence is the best outside back in MLS.
Yeah, he has competition.
He's good. Franco's right there.
I think if we're looking at the difference between Kamar Lawrence and Franco, we're looking at
Franco yells at referees instead of Tito Villalba.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
He got a little out of control.
That's a very strong point.
I
think for me, I'm going to say that Franco is a little bit more creative.
Yes.
And Kamar is a lot more defensive-minded. So even though Kamar can bomb up that field and help and contribute to goals, he does not have the same creativity, the same vigor and passion, even though we've seen his passion. No, just vigor in general, like a personal's vigor. But he, in my mind, is not as dynamic as Escobar. And I mean, I know we don't all like to think about this, but if you had a team that was able to play Kamar Lawrence and Franco Escobar at the same time, this league would be done.
Well, look, July 7th, we talked a lot at Red Bull Arena about the matchup between Tito Villalba and Kamar Lawrence.
Yes.
Well,
I was there for that match. I saw it.
Yeah, that got a little heated. There was some things that happened off camera and some things that happened when we were in a break on radio that, whew.
Yeah, I can say from a firsthand perspective, they do not like each other.
No.
At all.
No,
at all.
Am I crazy? We've had this Orlando conversation for a long time, and yeah, Orlando is some kind of a rival for Atlanta United. I think it's silly to say they're not.
You can say
it.
Go ahead and say
Red Bulls are the rival now.
100%. And I honestly think from the start of our first season, this rivalry or this bud has been growing. I know that the team has manufactured the Orlando rivalry. In some ways, yes, because they are close in proximity to us, that rivalry makes sense.
It's not an everyday game.
It's
the
not
Orlando
an everyday
game is definitely a little different.
But I honestly, the Red Bulls, and I've said this on our podcast and I will stand by this, the Red Bulls is the only team that I can both absolutely loathe and completely respect at the same time.
Absolutely.
I can't respect Orlando, and I don't loathe them either. There's nothing about that team that I like.
Ooh, see,
hate.
I don't like Orlando at all.
Okay, well, see, that's the difference.
Yeah, I really don't like Orlando, and there's really not a lot to respect about Orlando right now either. But maybe one day they are playing better. They are going to be. They are trying this year. They're getting closer. They might make the playoffs.
Could you imagine an Orlando in the playoffs?
Could you imagine an Atlanta-Orlando playoff match?
Oh, it would be amazing.
Because that's what kicked
off
the
Could you
Atlanta
imagine
Red
the
Bulls.
TIFO at the Orlando-Atlanta playoff match? Oh, wait, here we go.
I'm just glad that you made it back safely from New York.
No, I will say, when we were leaving the stadium, I had a lot of things said to me, which is weird because they won, right? So you would think that they'd be like, which is something I do whenever we win or lose. I thank the other team for coming out, for traveling, whatever. But I had a lot of Red Bull people yelling a lot of things at me. And one man in particular who kept yelling directly in my face and would not leave me alone that Atlanta should burn down to the ground. Like Atlanta should burn. And I'm like, we can calm down. They've already done that.
That happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
Check a history book.
Yeah, you get a new gimmick.
Yeah, but I mean, but at the same time, there were a lot of Red Bull fans who were very nice.
Yeah,
they talked a lot of trash, but at the end of the day,
it's a Jersey thing. Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's we're just wearing another team's colors. We respect us. We respect each other because it's the growth of MLS. But no, and in all reality, I don't know if I'd be able, if I got the chance to interview a player for the Red Bulls, I don't know if I would like it. That's kind of how much it's the players themselves.
See, you could see a playoff run this year with a first game for Atlanta against Orlando.
That would be entertaining.
And then a conference final with the Red Bulls.
Whew. Ooh, and when we win both of them and go to the MLS Cup and go against LAFC, yeah. and we win again and get our second star on our kit.
Ooh. It's not going to be an easy road.
We're at that point in time, we're already 6 months in.
Mm-hmm.
We're already where Frank will say that the team will be comfortable in their positions, will be comfortable with the system.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I did love about that article that came out is this whole idea that he doesn't need to talk to the players and tell them what they need to change because they should be able to read it themselves and adjust.
I think Frank is coming at this like a European manager would, and he has high expectations for his players. I think that blows some American coaches' minds because of the way, if you go out to a youth game, you have coaches telling kids, pass there, dribble here, shoot here. No, you have to solve problems. That's what the game is. And Frank expects his players to be able to do that. He doesn't have to rearrange the midfield. They should know and do it themselves.
Yeah, and I think that you see that, in my opinion, the one player that we all can actually see that attributing to the most, which you might not agree with me, I feel is Joseph Martinez.
Yes.
Because he's understanding that his role is not to just sit there and wait for a counter. He now has to drop back. I've seen him drop far deep into the midfield, link up for combination play, and that allows other players to move forward, and the whole team can then shift to an attack. And I honestly think that Joseph has showed more skill in these past couple of games this season, even as talented as he is, than he did the past 2 years.
I said it, I think, last week. I think this is the best season for Joseph Martinez in Atlanta.
Absolutely. You might not see it in the numbers or the stats or the goals scored, but he is doing something absolutely incredible this year. And if you are not paying attention, and if you are getting on to him about not ranking up the numbers like he did last year, you're not paying, like I said, you're not paying attention. You are absolutely not paying attention. He's being absolutely fantastic this year. By far, I think he's been the best player going forward. I mean, that might be contradicted by like Nagby, who has been a solid in the midfield, and Miles Robinson.
Yeah.
But honestly,
and Barco for the time he's been here.
Yes. But I do think that Joseph has had the biggest transition on what is expected of him.
Yeah.
And I think he's done the best out of it.
I would agree with that. I think if you look back at the last two games especially, it's not Joseph doing like textbook stuff.
Right.
Against Minnesota and Chicago, and Minnesota especially, he was dropping off to the left. So he was taking up a position out on the left wing in the build-up because you're trying to create a 2v1 with Joseph and Pereira against their rookie Dotson.
Yeah.
And that's Joseph doing something different, recognizing the weak spot. Other games, he'll drop into the middle or drop to the right. Joseph is reading the game so much more than he did last year.
Absolutely. I mean, and he's still hammering away like he did when you saw the Minnesota goal where he literally shrugged off the defender who was holding on to him.
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah.
Dax McCarty's like still trying to catch up.
He still is, and you could see Dax McCarty was so angry when that goal was done. But it's one of those things that sometimes, yes, he is the striker that we knew last season. You know, when Kai Kamara had that mishap and Joseph was there.
Yep.
That felt a lot like last season, right? But when you had that goal where Dax McCarty couldn't hold him back, but he was still contributing to Lincoln play then. Same with the first goal against Chicago where it was that link-up play right there. He's doing something absolutely spectacular, and I look forward to seeing what he can contribute more. And this goes along to when Pity is 100%. I've attributed my opinion on the way Pity is right now for our team to a light bulb where the fuse isn't entirely connected. So he 100% is available to be lit, right?
Right.
But you don't have the full control yet of a solid connection. And I think that's the one thing that's holding him back is that it's a flicker, right?
Yeah.
So you see those flickers during the game, like that beautiful cross he had to switch midfield to Dion Pereira against in the Chicago match. You see something like that, and you can see who we all know he is. But there are just moments where it falls off and then it falls on. And so it's just, for me, consistency is the biggest thing. But I agree with all of the parceros. Once he is fit, we are not going to see anyone like him in this league other than maybe Carlos Vela.
Yeah, and I think Pitti puts Carlos Vela to shame in terms of overall quality.
Yes, I would agree.
It's just not quite. and I don't even know if it's fit. It's not quite 100% comfortable yet. It reminds me of, a freshman in college who's went a long way away from home, and it's just taken a little bit of time to feel normal.
Yeah.
And we're seeing flashes of it, like the light bulb, and we're seeing bits and pieces, but it's not quite there yet like we saw at River Plate.
Absolutely. But to go along with your analogy, the minute that freshman gets accepted to that fraternity,
yes,
goes through the hazing of that fraternity.
Hitty has not gone through initiation yet.
He has not gone through initiation yet, but I can tell you, I'm going to actually go along with Frank's timeline here. I think 6 months into the season, we are going to once again, it makes me chuckle because you imagine a comfortable, prepared, ready to attack any and all teams in MLS, Atlanta United, 6 months in, with Barco, with PT, with a healthy Tito Villalba, with Joseph. I mean, LAFC, watch out. That's all I got to say.
It's going to be a fun one in July. All right, before we get Austin up, I've got to ask you this. So if we're going to play the fraternity game with Atlanta United,
okay.
Who is the pledge coordinator for Atlanta United?
Oh, pledge coordinator.
So who's in charge of the pledges?
Hold on, I got to think about this because there's a lot of like responsibilities that go along with it. Okay, John. Really? You think LGP? I don't know, because in my opinion, my gut said Brad Guzan.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you right now, I feel like Brad Guzan absolutely would be because he can be hard. He can be a hardball. I mean, LGP to me is the party boy that everybody goes to, who knows where the good parties
He's
are,
the party
where
planner,
knows
yeah.
where the alcohol is. That's LGP.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Brad Guzan, to me, is a mix of both. So we all know Brad gets down, right? We all call him Dad Brad, but we all know that Brad can bust it loose, right? But at the same time, I see him absolutely being responsible for the pledges.
Brad is one of the few Atlanta United players who caused one of the highlight videos at the end to be completely without sound. It was Brad and Joseph after the San Jose game.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when they posted that video, everybody's like, oh, why can't we hear anything? Well,
you know
there's
exactly
a reason
why you can't hear
couldn't
anything. Yeah, no, Brad has a mouth.
A little bit.
Absolutely. There's a lot of videos actually of Brad that have been posted where you can kind of see what he's saying and there's no sound.
No.
I actually, funny enough, they posted a video, Brad, with sound, and I actually had to message somebody and be like, you need to listen to the sound on this because I don't think you heard that. And then they immediately took the sound off. I'm like, that's a good choice because Brad absolutely has a mouth. But, yeah.
I like Brad as the pledge coordinator. I think this can work.
Yes, absolutely. And 100% LGP is the party coordinator.
Yeah, the party planner for sure. All right, how can people follow you and Unrelegated and everything that you put out?
Yes, so you can follow me at the Kelly Francis on all the social medias. You can follow Unrel at Unrel ATL also on the social medias. We'll have a lot of stuff coming out pretty soon. There's actually a really interesting video that's going to be dropped tomorrow from Atlanta United Fan TV.
Ooh.
That's actually... because we're all friends here and we're all family, it will be an Atlanta United player getting ink done with someone else. I can't tell you who, and I can't tell you what the ink is, but it's
I heard about
it's
this
tats.
as it was being talked about.
Some tattoos have been made and put on skin. And that video, under my understanding, and I'm almost positive, is getting dropped tomorrow. So look out for that for Atlanta United Fan TV. But like I said, Unrel ATL on all the socials.
All right. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
All right. Make sure you're buying raffle tickets. That's how you can help the kids tonight. 1 ticket for $5, 5 tickets for $20, 20 tickets for $50, 50 tickets for $100. What do you want to do now? 10 minutes? We're going to do the draw for the Champions League so you know what groups you're in, you'll be matched up with. We're going to do that in about 10, 15 minutes. But up next, I want to get Austin Long up here. It's been a long time since I've done a podcast with you.
Yes.
your podcast, God, it's probably been 2-3 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Let everybody know kind of how you came into the Atlanta soccer scene.
So I moved here from Michigan about 4 years ago, and I'm a sort of a soccer nerd, so I just dropped in and got involved. Played it, went to Silverbacks games, joined Terminus Legion, did podcasts. You were one of the first people that I met when I moved into town, and just got involved and saw what was happening and became a founding member of Atlanta United and did all that and just started visiting other supporters groups and doing soccer in the street stuff and just doing the thing.
What was your favorite memory from helping out with the Atlanta Silverbacks reserves?
Right.
I roped you into that one.
That's right. So my favorite moment was I went as a fan to the game at Nashville when they played at Vanderbilt.
Yep.
And
against what is now Nashville SC, which is crazy.
Which is now Nashville SC. And I got to do that, and I got to see the player. Just as a fan, I sat in the stands, just hung out, and to see them play. And I think they drew or won. It was a dramatic game. Mm-hmm. But to see them play was super cool. Silverbacks Park was super hot because we were playing during the summer.
Yeah.
It was super hot because we would have to play at 1 or 4.
We'd play at like 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock.
Because the first team would play at 7-ish.
Yep.
So it was super hot, but I did enjoy, meeting some of the players and watching them grow. They were at varying stages of their career, and seeing sort of the life of a footballer. You had some really young kids that were trying to make it, and then you had sort of the Mitch Garcia end, and then you had Banguras and so on and so forth. So just cool to see all that.
So you've been involved with Terminus Legion since pretty early in the process, and Jess and Kelly both mentioned Terminus Legion and how involved they are with soccer in the streets. What was it for you when with Terminus Legion? Why did you pick soccer in the streets to get involved with?
So Terminus Legion partnered with Soccer in the Streets before I started really doing anything. It's just community service has always been a big part of Terminus Legion, and we were doing foot golf tournaments and fundraisers and all of that, and it's evolved. Now we help with all the 4 major fundraisers. Last year we raised over $10,000. This year we've already contributed about $4,000 to the Champions League. So support service community, it became a natural fit. We play in the Wednesday night league at West End. Mm-hmm. We raise money for them. We do the coaching clinics at Home Depot backyard. Just trying to give back because not everyone can play. Not everyone can coach.
Right.
Not everyone can raise money, but they can do one of those 3 things.
Yeah.
And, basically if you can do none of those things, just attend a tailgate or a watch party, and you are contributing.
Right. What's been your favorite time so far with Atlanta United and since the team started in 2017? Besides MLS Cup. I mean, that's the easy one.
Yep.
But, what's the memory that really sticks with you?
So for me, the memory was the first game at Bobby Dodd. But when we did the Atlanta United call and response chant, I'm not going to say it got dusty, but it did.
No, it did.
And I've been to a lot of MLS stadiums, and I've watched a lot of games. And for me to be part of something, I wasn't doing it. I was on the opposite side of the field. I was responding. But to be part of that was awesome. Like, all these people, there's 55,000 people. A lot of them weren't there from day one. They just bought it, but they were waiting for this. Mm-hmm. They were waiting for this. And to be part of that was pretty cool.
How do you feel about Atlanta United in 2019? Good run here lately in the last month. Started out a little bumpy. There was a lot of conversation in a lot of different places. How do you feel about the team right now as they're almost halfway through the season?
So there's a couple things. We still, in my opinion, have not played our first choice 11 consistently.
Ooh, okay.
So, between injuries, suspensions, Barco leaving, we still haven't seen a game in which Barco, Escobar, both Martinez and Remedi, and all those guys ball out. I mean, we still have a Bello at left back. So we're still,
I was wondering if he was in your first choice. Okay.
So that would be my first choice.
Right.
But anyway, we have that. And then May was going to be the gauntlet that we had to run. And we ran it. We started at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Now we're in the top 3. For me, I'm excited. We may not win Supporters Shield, but I think we're going to be ready for the playoffs. Because I would not have said that in March and April.
Right.
I absolutely would not have said that. I thought DeBoer would improve our defense, which at the beginning was not happening. So we couldn't score and we couldn't defend. That was not great.
Right.
But a defense has come around. We can definitely we do have some flaws.
Yeah.
But we are a lockdown defensive team most of the time. I'd like to see us be more fluent in attack, but I feel good. I think we're going to figure it out.
Okay. How do you look at this when you dig into the roster? And we talked about Franco Escobar and how important he is. Who's the player Atlanta United can't do without?
For me, it's always been Gressel.
Okay.
Gressel's my number one player by
Okay.
far. So, although this year he has regressed, I think last year is a level that he may never hit again.
Yeah, I could see that.
So this year, for me, Remedi has stood out.
Okay.
Because I don't see Nagby doing that. I don't see Kratz doing that. I don't see Lorenowitz doing that as an emergency role.
Right.
I think if he went down, because he went down, we got lucky with the Barco game against New England.
That's right.
I would say that's luck as
Right.
opposed to planned. That would be Remedi might be it for this year.
Let me ask you, there's something coming up in August that I'm curious what the reaction's going to be and how it's going to go. The Campeones Cup. Atlanta United will play either Club America or Tigres, and they have a match to determine who comes to Atlanta for that. That match falls in a kind of a busy schedule. You are going to Portland on the Sunday after that. How important is that match to you?
Zero,
just nothing.
nothing. It's a nothing burger.
So if they played Atlanta United 2 in that match, essentially, you'd be fine.
We're not going to be a Mexican team anyway.
Oh, wow. That's negative.
I mean, we're just not. So if it's a game they take seriously, we don't win.
Wow.
Historically. So I'm saying I'd rather beat Portland because Portland's going to be our role, and they're going to be in a bunch of those home games. I'd rather beat them. This Campeones Cup is a money grab. We have the Champions League. I will try not to go off on that.
No, it's all good.
So for me, Breck Shea plays. Andrew Carlson plays.
Right.
Let's get Romario Williams a solid run, 75 minutes. I don't care. If we get run off the field, it doesn't matter. I don't think we'd win the game anyway. So if we lose 5-0 or 1-0, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
If we win, then what? It's a one-off. No one cares anyway.
You get a trophy and maybe some cash. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a nothing game for me.
What about the Open Cup? How important is that to you with that starting on Tuesday?
I mean, it's important, but because of the way MLS is going to MLS, we can't take it seriously.
Right.
I mean, it's during an international break. I don't know what they want us to do. So there's that. I think we're going to put out the best squad available, but that's not going to be the best squad available.
So, yeah, I'm kind of like that too, though. I feel like it's not going to be what we've seen in the past in the Open Cup where it is second choice of what's available. I feel like it's going to be pretty close to first choice of who you have for that match. I think DeBoer is going to use it as an opportunity to continue to build, but while giving maybe Kevin Kratz some minutes, who needs some minutes with the first team, maybe Mikey Ambrose, maybe Andrew Carlton as well.
Totally agree. So for me, Kevin Kratz is on Team Milk Carton because I don't know where that guy is.
He's been banged up. He's had a calf injury most of the season.
So, Brandon Vasquez,
yeah.
Let's get him some run. If they play, I don't know if they can play 90 minutes, but let's play 90 minutes. Let's see what they've got. Let's see what happens. And, it's going to Miles Robinson's going to get more time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see Jose Hernandez. Somebody, let's get these people. Maybe some of the draft picks, some of the Atlanta I2 guys who've done really well, let's give them some run and see what happens. I mean, we're going away, so it's going to be a tough environment. So I think that plays to us because we're not going to have the first choice team. Mm-hmm. So let's sit, let's counter, let's see what we've got, and, let's go on to the next round.
Okay, so it's a busy summer with not MLS matches, but you have Open Cup. Yeah. You have the Women's World Cup kicking off on Friday, Copa America, Gold Cup. What are you most looking forward to during these next couple months?
So for Gold Cup is like I've sort of let the United States do what they're going to do. We're back. We have a quasi plan. You know, we have a coach and we have a direction. I want to see the Gold Cup. Okay, let's see what we put all this stuff in the blender. Let's see what comes out. Mm-hmm. That's really what I'm looking forward to. Copa America is like it's great, but I'm not South American. I don't. They play it weird. They play too late or too early. You know, I'm old, so like let's like I'll watch the final. You know, I'll go Fido or something, be with a bajillion people, and that'll be awesome. But I'm not going to watch it from, like, round one. For me, Gold Cup, like, let's see what the U.S. has got. We got this next generation of players.
I think we're still scoreless with Jamaica.
Yeah. I mean, it's brutal. It's not great so far, but that's what I'm looking for. The Women's World Cup, again, like, it's going to be going – it's 24 teams. It's going to be going on all the time. I got to work a little bit.
That's overrated.
And so,
does the U.S. win the Women's World Cup?
I have no idea. So I was watching Kelly fill our bracket. I was listening to you and John.
Yeah.
I listened to Kelly and you talk about like I just want to see good soccer.
Okay.
If the United States wins, great. If they don't, if there's a good story or good entertainment, I'm all for that.
So being part of Terminus Legion, I think I talked to Jess about Atlanta and NWSL. What do you think the reaction would be from the supporters groups and from the people in the supporters groups if Atlanta United was involved in an NWSL team?
I think you might see something similar to what's going on at the Lane Night 2, where sort of supporters have created, it's called Two Spikes.
Yeah.
So they go to Dry County before the game. They go out on the stage. They hang out. They try to replicate. You know, it gives people. It's a good proving ground for people to maybe can't get sports section tickets. So they can do their thing in there. I think you might see something similar like that. Depends on where the stadium is and how it's marketed and so forth. I think you would see a sort of sliver that could grow.
Could it match Portland?
See, I was talking to somebody about that. Portland is lightning in a bottle.
Okay.
That is the outlier. That is the best case scenario.
On the women's side.
On the women's side,
okay.
yes.
Got it.
That's the best case scenario for a women's team. We're on our third league since I've been even paying attention.
Yep.
And it's going to be stops and starts, and maybe when my son marries his wife and they'll have children, that will have like an NWSL acronym thing that is vibrant and successful. But Portland's not what we should be aiming for, right? Solid attendance, solvent people, women. So when I was at ISC, I heard about the whole sky blue shenanigans.
Yep.
We want women to have the same facilities as the men, right? We want that. We want a solid crowd. We want a plan where the owner and the players can be successful. They don't need 20,000 people. They need a venue that supports 5,000, where it's an intimate environment, and especially young girls get to see their heroes. That's Portland's. I mean, that is the best case, and we should be focusing. Sort of like minor league soccer, NPSL, USL, all that sort of stuff.
I honestly think you can get somewhere in between pretty quick. I think you maybe not quite Portland or Utah, because the Utah Royals have replicated a lot of what Portland's doing, and they're drawing really well. But I think you can get past what Orlando and Houston are doing. I think because of the fan culture here, and I think being so heavily female, I think that gives Atlanta a different perspective on professional women's game, where you could play at Kennesaw and I think do really well, and probably draw better than Atlanta United too.
Right. I
hope so.
I just want the women to be successful. Put them, again, for me, it's all about managing expectations and putting yourself in a position to succeed. Don't think you're going to play at the Benz and do anything. It won't look good. So find something that works.
All right, I've put everybody else on the spot with a last question. I'm going to ask you your favorite goal in Atlanta United history.
Favorite goal
in Atlanta United history.
Okay, well, I will buy myself – the best goal ever against us was the Kaká goal at Bobby Dodd Stadium.
Okay.
Because that was sick.
That was good.
That was filthy. Favorite goal.
It doesn't have to be best.
No,
favorite.
Favorite goal. The Gressel won in Minnesota United, one of the first games at Mercedes-Benz, chest and hits. That was the game we went down to 10 men.
That was the one I think made it 2-1 Atlanta, if I remember right, with 10 men.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a unique one. That's one I haven't heard when I've asked people this question. I like it.
Yeah.
How can people follow you and everything you're doing?
So for me, I'm a board member of Terminus Legion. We're at terminuslegion.com, at Terminus Legion on all the social media platforms. We'll be out at ATL Champions League on Sunday, volunteering, ball boys, water, runners, parking, whatever.
So the captains, when they're not getting the ball served back in fast enough, they're going to yell at you, right?
Correct.
It's your fault.
Yeah, they will be yelling at my members, but yes. So we're out there. So Terminus Legion, and then for me personally, Austin Long 1974 on Twitter and Facebook. I'm out there. I stopped doing the podcast. I might get back into that one day.
You got to bring it back, dude.
What's that?
You got to bring it back.
I know. You're not the first person to say that, but So just Austin Long 1974 on Twitter. Find me, have a conversation. Let's talk about Atlanta United and soccer in general.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Austin Long from Terminus Legion. Let's get Jessica Sharman back up so we can do a draw for the ATL Champions League in just a minute. Raffle tickets, still raffling off a night here at Eventide. 90 free beers as part of this. 90 beers. So you can go ahead and pre-schedule your lift. You can go ahead and find some friends to come. Raffle tickets, you can get 50 of them for $100, 20 tickets for $50, 5 tickets for $20, 1 ticket for $5. You buy a bunch of tickets, you have pretty good odds. And all the proceeds benefit Soccer in the Streets and Metro Atlanta programs. Soccer in the Streets does programs all over the metro area for kids who are in disadvantaged areas, kids who don't have access to play. And they try to take the programs to the kids to eliminate the transportation issues. I know a lot of you have seen the Station Soccer project where Soccer in the Streets is building many soccer pitches at MARTA train stations. It's an awesome partnership with Atlanta United, with the Arthur Blank Foundation, with the City of Atlanta, with MARTA. That's gone a long way to bridging that gap for kids who want to play but can't get to where they can play. The Station Soccer projects are amazing for that. Also, programs in Atlanta Public Schools, in DeKalb County schools, programs all over the metro area, giving kids a chance to play and giving teenagers a chance to learn job skills. It's very, very important that Soccer in the Streets uses soccer to benefit the kids' lives throughout. And you see so many kids. I've been really blessed to see kids that I coached with the organization who have gotten involved as coaches, as volunteers, as fundraisers. The kids who participate do really get those skills, and they do give back to the next generation. It's been really exciting to see. All right, Jess, let's pull you away from raffle tickets so we can do the draw for the Champions League. So you guys who are here representing your teams know where you're going to play, who's going to be in your group, and what the matchups are going to be on Sunday. Everything will be at the Atlanta United Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground in Marietta. If you're not playing, you can come out and watch. Terminus Legion accepting volunteers to help out. All right. It is the heavy bowl for the draw. Okay. We're going to have 4 groups of 3. That's the way this is going to work. So you're playing 2 games in the group stage. There is a consolation round. Everyone gets at least 3 games. Didn't see that. It didn't happen. All right. So this is Team 1 in Group A. Okay. Team 1 in Group A is Liverpool. I think they're back in red, too, because I think the board members who run that team did not like being in yellow, right? They got red. I figured. They won the Champions League in Europe. They get red this time. So that's Team 1 in Group A. Team 2, we're going to go Team 2 in Group A? Draw it out that way? All right. Team 2 in Group A is West Ham. The Hammers will be facing off with Liverpool. They will also be facing off with Team 3 in Group A, Juventus. So, Group A, Juventus, West Ham, and Liverpool. Team 1 in Group B. The Gunners. Arsenal, Team 1 in Group B. All right, Team 2 in Group B, facing off with Arsenal. Well, I mean, you got to do it. Chelsea and Arsenal in Group B, and they will be joined by, it's Celtic, Arsenal, and Chelsea in Group B. Might be a little bit of trash talking going on in that one, just a little. All right, Group C. Team 1, Ajax. Ajax is Team 1 in Group C. Team 2 in Group C. Oh, this is a tough one for the manager. Atlanta United. I don't know if Frank de Boer ever played against Ajax when he moved to Barcelona, but Atlanta United and Ajax, and they will be joined by Bayern Munich. All right. Ajax, Atlanta United, and Bayern in Group C. So for Group D, that does sound like the group of death. Manchester United is Team 1 in Group D. Team 2 in Group D. Real Madrid, Manchester United, Real Madrid, and finishing off Group D, Barcelona. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United in Group D. So we'll run through them one more time. Group C, Bayern Munich, Atlanta United, and Ajax. Group B, Celtic, Chelsea, and Arsenal. And Group A, Juve, West Ham, and Liverpool. That's a pretty good draw. It worked out where I know some of the teams that I know are generally strong are divided up. So some last winners of the tournament. I know Liverpool's won the tournament before on the field. Atlanta United's won the tournament on the field. Manchester United's won the tournament on the field. I think those are the three winners. I think they've divided all of them up. So they're all in separate pools. I want to know who's going to be the surprise this time around. Who's recruited some ringers?
Well, let me tell you, I've got some inside information. We just had a team show up in their practice gear. I believe Real Madrid have been doing regular practices. So whoever's in the group with Real Madrid might have a bit of a struggle on their hands.
Oh, Real Madrid's been training. They have a pretty good transfer budget, too. I'm sure they've got some ringers. I'm sure they've got a few ringers.
I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And with the group stage only getting 2 games, that means you've got to be on point straight away.
Well, in case you didn't know, Jason, we've added a little something else this year. Fundraising can earn you up to 1 bonus point. So every team, that's going to be a switch up. Every team that has every single player on their team raise $150 for the day, they'll get an extra half a point.
Okay.
And every team that raised $5,000 in the last week of the game, just because we want that money to come in at the end, they'll get another half a point. So that could be a game changer in a close group.
Okay, we know Atlanta United is doing really well in the fundraising thanks to all the supporters groups. Who else is standing out in the fundraising? Because that's the most important thing here.
I mean, Liverpool is ever consistent with the fundraising,
always
so
Liverpool.
We're going to kind of discount those, but I've been extremely impressed with groups such as Real Madrid who have hosted some events. West Ham came in strong with money early on. Celtic's been impressive. They've got a new captain, and they've done a good job. And then I'm trying to think who's in third. Arsenal. Arsenal is ever pretty strong, and what's interesting about this Champions League is it's closer than ever before, so anyone can really win it. And let's be honest, as much as we want to have fun on the field, which reward means more? And it's got to be the fundraising one, right?
That's the one that really means the most for an organization like Soccer in the Streets. I mean, kind of budget-wise and how things look and how much a program costs. Like an event like this, you're talking about funding programs for what? How many kids, roughly?
I mean, the average program for about 40 kids costs $7,500 to run. So, I mean, you do the math quickly. If we raise $100K, that's, 400 kids that wouldn't otherwise get access to the game.
And get a chance to play and train regularly and play games.
But it's more than just soccer.
Right.
And that's something we've added recently. It's not just about the beautiful game. It's about all the skills that come with it. We've got financial literacy. We've got kids that are qualifying as referees. There's kids that now have jobs in the game and are making a living. And that's a skill they can have for the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. Refereeing isn't about being 15 and refereeing games. It's about refereeing games as you get older and having a career. We've got kids that have jobs, that have bank accounts. They've opened bank accounts with help of Bank of America. And without the money that these tournaments raise, that wouldn't be possible. So for every player that plays in this tournament, $150 could qualify a kid to be a referee. So you're not just fundraising to get your jersey. You're not just fundraising to play in a soccer tournament. You're not just fundraising to be at Atlanta United's training ground. You're fundraising to give a kid a career, to give them a job, to give them an income, and to change their lives.
Can we get some of these referees in Major League Soccer?
As long as it's not Geiger, right?
Yeah. I mean, they probably
We're
can't
not
do the Atlanta
growing
games.
the next Geiger, I promise.
Okay, we're not going to have any Mark Geigers coming out. Thank you. That's good. I feel better now. I was a little worried. I was a little concerned. All right, so $150 is what each player is trying to get to. That's the baseline, right?
Yep, that's the baseline, and we've had so many players. I mean, I recognize so many faces in this room that have gone above and beyond that, and it's so impressive. We actually have an incentive this year. The player with the most donors is going to win a signed Michael Parkhurst match-worn jersey.
That's awesome.
I've heard it still smells of him. I'm not sure if that makes it worth more or less money.
I don't know. That might be worth more, I think. Maybe.
If it was Tito, I mean...
Well, it depends on who's buying it. If it's Tito's sweaty jersey, some people would definitely be in line for that one.
Or his shorts. I've heard those are quite popular.
Well, the shorts or the rolled-up shorts are very popular from what I hear. People get very confused about these.
The diaper, the baby diaper.
Yeah, and at Red Bull Arena. Ooh, okay. That was something. What else do people need to know as you're ramping up for this event? You're going to play in it on Sunday. What are some of the things that players should know as they get ready for the day of?
I think, firstly, come prepared, rain or shine. A lot of people have mentioned the weather right now. As long as it's just rain and not thunder, we plan to play. We will be there, rain or shine, because at the end of the day, that's what soccer was made for. Soccer was made for playing in the rain, slide tackles. It's on turf. Who cares if it's a little bit wet? The only thing that we're concerned of is if it's lightning. And if it's lightning, we're going to make that call ahead of the time. And then we plan to work that out. And whatever happens, a game's going to take place at some point. So that's important. The second thing that's important is if you are planning to pay on the day, if you're trying to make up the difference, please pay before Friday, because otherwise your team is not going to get that half a point incentive, and it's also going to make things difficult for our volunteers. Yeah. And speaking of volunteers, if you have any friends, family members that want to come out, why not have them sign up to volunteer? There's lots of fun things they can do. We're going to have a kids zone. We're going to have a lot of entertainment for the kids, so that's going to be a fun thing. We're going to have some of our Clarkston kids out. They're going to be selling body armor. So if anyone wants to support the Clarkston kids in their program, that's another way they can do it.
Very cool. We're going to have a podcast-a-thon as well, and it'll be set up like this. If you're at home listening and couldn't make it out tonight, you can listen to the podcast-a-thon, same places, on our Soccer Down Here app at soccerdownhere.net, on the Spreaker platform. We'll be grabbing players, lots of different guests on the day to kind of give you a flavor of it. Are there any new captains who are new to the event who are here tonight?
Yeah, we have one captain of Celtic, Scott, right here. That's a new captain right here.
Scott's new to captain, but Scott's been in the event before. He goes back to the Austin Avenue field over near the brew house. 4 teams played in this in the first year this was done.
Wow, that's a throwback.
4 teams raised, I think, $15,000.
Hey, that's still impressive.
And this year it's 12 teams, and how much has been raised so far?
We've raised about $78,000 already, so that's really impressive. Incredible work for the kids.
It shows the growth of not just soccer in the streets, but it shows the growth of soccer in Atlanta and all the different levels of it, and that's what's really cool about it. Can we get a couple of the captains up here?
Yeah, let me get Scott and Ross. Ross, Scott, you want to come up and talk?
Oh, we have breaking news. Joseph Martinez is not starting in the Mexico-Venezuela game.
So it's a good job you're here. Why even go to
Exactly.
that game if Joseph's not playing?
Yeah, he's not starting. It's all
There's
good.
not anyone called Tata Martino there.
You know,
Okay.
it's all good. He doesn't want to hurt Tata.
Thank you.
Okay. So you got about 20 minutes to buy raffle tickets. And for those of you who are listening online, you can still buy the tickets. You have to go online, go to my last tweet. If you follow me on Twitter at Longshoe, it's got all the instructions. You use the hashtag ATLCL when you buy the tickets, and you can win too. So if you're not here, you can still buy tickets and win if you're listening live. All right, so we got a couple captains from the event, West Ham and Celtic. You guys are in the same – no, you didn't get in the same group. I was about to say we've got trash talking. West Ham, how did you get involved in the event? Introduce yourself and tell us how you got involved in this.
It was maybe 3-4 years ago. I came out and I played for the UK in the Nations Cup, obviously from the UK. Someone got me involved, and I mean, from then on, just learning about what Soccer in the Streets do, learning about the programs that they start, and obviously the stations. I play in those leagues as well. Just learning a bit about what the charity does. Kind of couldn't really stop, and had a conversation a few years ago about bringing West Ham into the Champions League because we don't get much Champions League football, so
that's true.
We needed to do it, and so got them involved last year, did fairly well, raised a good amount of money, and wanted to come back again. So, yeah, I mean,
what have been some of the ways that you've used, like, strategically to raise money? Like, how do you go about it?
Personally, I work a lot in youth soccer, so I work at a club up in Buckhead. So a lot of my parents there are really generous, and I send out a few emails here and there and just say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. There's a lot of kids in Atlanta that aren't as lucky as your kids. They don't have the funds that you guys do, and so I'm doing this to help them. That brings a lot in, and then social media, honestly, just doing bits and pieces like that. So, yeah.
Very cool. Let's hear from Scott with Celtic. So you've been involved in Atlanta soccer for a long time. You've seen both Soccer in the Streets grow, but you've seen soccer in Atlanta grow. Are you surprised it is where it is now?
I'm not surprised. I think what does impress me is the speed at which it developed. We were, you and I and a lot of other folks, since the mid to late 90s were, really kind of doing the yeoman's work, laying the groundwork for this sport to take off in Atlanta. Obviously, from the mid-level, from the nonprofit areas to the professional level. Obviously, the youth development in Atlanta has been occurring for decades. But I think the speed at which this has developed, especially once Atlanta United got warmed up, because so many of us, knew the Blank organization and had been supporting them over the years as they got warmed up. But really, we're waiting for that venue, really waiting for the league to hit a certain level of momentum for them to step in, and obviously they've blown it out of the water.
So you've been involved in Soccer in the Streets fundraisers for a long time. Why do you keep doing it?
Well, it's just first of all, it's fun. I get to participate with folks who I've known for many, many years. As you mentioned, we were involved with Soccer in the Streets as an organization since it was born.
Right.
Which was similar to similar timing to when the Silverbacks got rolling in the late 90s when Phil Hill and had that vision to put this organization together, and we participated in the early versions of the Champions League, like you said, in the fields that were right down the street here in the little 5 Points area.
Yeah.
We had small goals, so that was actually better for those of us who think we're goalkeepers.
Yeah, better for the goalkeepers for sure.
Now with the full-size goals, it's a different story. But, you kind of keep that momentum, and in some ways I stepped aside from it a little bit for a few years, focusing on my professional career, but staying in touch with the various folks. And now there's a new generation of people involved with the organization. And I actually reached out to them earlier this year, got involved again, first with the Nations Cup a couple of months ago, and then now stepped in with the Champions League. Had never actually run a team before.
Nice.
But when Jessica mentioned that Celtic was available, I'm a lifelong Celtic fan as the son of an Irishman. So so it was a good chance to put on the green and white. So
Very
here we
cool.
are.
All right, so I've put everybody kind of on their toes with a question, so I'm going to have to do the same for you guys. This week, I completely geeked out when I realized that Amazon Prime Video has the official World Cup films on, like not the highlight reels, but the one, like the 82 one, Sean Connery narrates it and is talking about how the tournament goes. What is your favorite geek out memory about soccer? Like, what did you just completely lose it and that was your favorite memory about the game?
I mean, I've got a lot, but this past summer, as an England fan, I've never experienced anything like the tournament we just had as an England supporter. So, my dad always used to tell me when I was younger, like, England will always disappoint you. They'll make you believe that they can do it, and then they'll disappoint you over and over and over again. And I experienced that, like, for the past 10 years. We used to go to tournaments and used to get excited and be like, we can win this, and then, oh no, we can't. But then this last summer, we got to the point where every England fan that I knew, they got past that. They were like, oh, hold on, we actually can. And then I was in Fado's in Buckhead, and Kieran Trippier scored that the free kick, and that place lifted up. Like, Fado's was wild, and I believed for a split second that England were going to win the World Cup. And obviously it didn't go like that, but that was, for me, there's nothing like that. It was amazing. It was incredible, yeah.
That's very cool. Scott, what's your geek out moment?
Wow, there've been so many. Obviously, a lifelong follower of the game. Probably the earliest geek out moment was that '89 qualifier when the U.S. scored that goal in Trinidad from Paul Caligiuri. So that was probably my earliest geek out moment. There have been several since, but that's probably the one that really stands out in my mind.
Yeah, mine like that, like y'all's would be 2002 World Cup for the U.S.
That's my
Watching
second
it
one.
in the middle of the night, like people are
Portugal and
sleeping
Mexico.
in the house, like running around the living room, like losing my mind because we're 3-0 up on Portugal. Like, nobody expected that. Thanks, you guys, for coming up, and thanks, you guys, for doing this for the kids, because it's really hard to organize a team. It's a lot of extra work. It's one thing to come out and play and raise the money, but to actually organize it, it's a lot of extra work, and it's so beneficial for the kids in the organization. And having coached kids in the organization, like, I've seen that impact directly. So thank you for what you guys do.
No, I really appreciate it, and I think if anyone is coming down and they're enjoying it, like, reach out to these guys about, like you just said, coming and coaching, because I know Soccer in the Streets are always looking for people to not just donate money, but to come out and coach. And I think if you can make that time for yourself and come out and coach some of these kids, it will make you want to donate even more.
Yeah.
Because these kids are, I mean, yeah, they need it. They need it just as much as anyone else does.
Yeah, I mean, it's we geek out over this game like the kids do as well. And a lot of times for the kids in this organization, their moments like that are as part of this organization. You know, it's playing in a tournament, it's getting to go out of town for a tournament, stuff like that. So what anybody can do, whether you're captaining a team, whether you're playing in an event, whether you're volunteering, you can change the trajectory of these kids' lives.
No, absolutely, Jason. And thank you for having us on, and thank you for all the work you've done in the game for the past 2+ decades.
It's been a while.
You know, you were one of the OGs. But yeah, you know, for folks out there who may be watching or listening, there's still another 5 days between now and the tournament, so there's still an opportunity to donate if you have not done so already. So go online to Soccer in the Streets, click on the Champions League, and go ahead and click on Celtic, and you can contribute under the Celtic link.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to do the raffle in 10 minutes. So this is your last call to buy raffle tickets if you want to win an awesome prize. Let me get my Soccer Down Here partner, John Nelson, up here so we can close this out. Because I ask a bunch of goofy questions for people, and this guy's the the master of goofy answers. So,
Oh, by the way, Jamaica's leading 1-0.
Jamaica's leading 1-0. Oh,
Yeah.
am I not surprised? Miles Robinson should have been in that team.
Goal on the 61st for a guy who scored his first international goal.
Yeah, Miles Robinson should have been in that team.
Shamar Nicholson.
Anyway. Favorite soccer geek out moment?
Ooh. When Jarrett Smith had me in a triangle choke last year in the radio booth when Atlanta United won MLS Cup.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that. That was
No,
behind
you
me.
were working at the time.
I was busy.
But what? Peeling back the fourth wall, you and Mike Conti were busy. You guys were looking out the window and you're calling the match. And traditionally, what I like to do with engineer extraordinaire Miller Pope is get the spare audio earpiece remote, and then I'll take my own earpiece and I'll put it in and I'll listen to the match sitting in the press box listening to you guys call it. But as things were going, 70th minute, 75th minute, I'm like, I've got to see the end of this from the radio booth. So I leave my seat in the press box and stand behind the two of you calling the last 10 minutes of the match and standing next to Miller. Jarrett comes walking in with about 5 minutes to go. And so he's standing behind me, and Jarrett is about 8 feet 3 inches tall.
Yes.
And so as you and Mike are trying to talk through the open window and into your headsets over the loudness that was 128,000 people,
Boy.
Then Mike calls it, the city of Atlanta has a champion, and it's Atlanta United. Jarrett reaches from behind, reaches around, and he's giving me basically a triangle choke celebrating the fact that Atlanta United had won MLS Cup. That, to me, was a geek-out moment on a bunch of different levels. A, for the city, B, for the fans, C, what it's been to this point. To be there to see you and Mike call a championship moment, and to be there, and this is going to sound kind of mushy, but to be there with friends. To share it with friends and see it happen in front of me and have Jarrett choke the ever-living life out of me at the time, that was a geek-out moment.
It's funny. One of my things, superstitions, when we're calling these games. So we have a couple little traditions that we do. In the post-game show, we play music from the city that we beat. So I don't ever pre-plan it because that's looking ahead, and don't do it. We made the decision in the postseason, okay, we're just going to play Atlanta music if Atlanta wins. We're not going to play the other city's music. Cool. But when we were talking about what we wanted to do for the Cup and how we wanted to do a post-match show or any of that, all I said, the only thing we planned was we had a long pregame, and we decided, one, we wanted to have the Portland broadcasters on the pregame, and Jake Zivin and Ross Smith, awesome guys. It was a great interview. Great to catch up with them. They came on and did about 20 minutes with us.
Yeah, it was fun.
We had Jordan Culver from Orlando and Charlie Bohm, who writes for MLSsoccer.com and Soccer Wire. We knew we wanted to get the national perspective. That was cool. The only thing that I've pre-planned anything of was we talked about doing a local roundtable, and I said we've got to save that for the post-game if things go the way we hope they go.
Right.
And doing the post-game show with like a just rotating cast of characters with John and Jarrett, with Doug Robertson from the AJC, with Felipe Cardenas from the Athletic, with Sam Jones from Dirty South Soccer. That was a blast because that was how it should have been. Like that was the right way to wrap all of that up. My other geek out moment was this week when I discovered that the 1986 World Cup film was on Amazon Prime.
When all of those World Cup films have been on
I haven't
Amazon
watched them all
Prime.
yet. I've watched the 86 one because I never had a chance to see it.
And Rick Wakeman has done all of the music for all of the ones that you've been watching and giving us play-by-play for.
All right, I think a lot of people here have no idea who Rick Wakeman is.
Yes.
This is normal for John.
Yes. Use the Google machine and look up Rick Wakeman.
The group Yes.
The group Yes.
For
the
some
prog
reason,
rock group from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
Yeah, for some reason he did the score for the FIFA World Cup films, and it is about what you would expect. It's ridiculousness. What were my other questions to put people on their toes? Favorite Atlanta United goal in team history?
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, I could default to the first one ever.
That's a good one.
And that, for me, because that gets you started. You put that one on the board at home, the first ever home goal, and that's what gets this whole thing started. And everybody remembers where they were. And I can guarantee you that 70,000 people will say that they were at Bobby Dodd for that first Atlanta United goal.
More than that.
So, that for me, it was the first ever home goal.
Nobody takes mine. Mine's the Tito Villalba goal against Orlando at Bobby Dodd. Goal at Bobby Dodd.
Well, because he had that one, and then he also had the screamer in Orlando.
But it's the one at Bobby Dodd that shut Bobby Dodd down. That for me is my favorite one, and nobody ever says that. You might have you said LGP on who would be the pledge coordinator for Atlanta United fraternity.
Yeah. Because you look at his social media account, and you see LaBonda there, you see everyone there. And that was where I came up with that.
See, I think he's the party planner because when you see the asado, it's always at LGP's house, and he's organizing it, bringing everybody over. So I think
then
he's
Martha
planner.
Stewart, is what you're saying?
Definitely not Martha Stewart. It's an asado. There's no Martha Stewart about
Rachel
the Argentine
Ray?
asado. No, it's more like Bobby Flay if you're going to go to one of them.
So you're thinking Guzan is...
Yeah, I think Brad would have some good pranks up his sleeve. I think he'd be hard on the pledges.
So Guzan is Eric Stratton, is what you're saying?
I was thinking more old school. He might be the Will Ferrell of the batch.
Okay.
And Parkhurst would be Luke Wilson. He'd be the godfather of the group. He'd be the president
Parkhurst
of the fraternity.
is the godfather.
And Will Ferrell would be Brad Gazan if
Frank
we're going
the
old
Tank
school.
Is
I could see
Brad
as
Gazan?
Frank the Tank, yes. I am going to double down on that, yes.
Wandering down the cereal aisle in the grocery store going,
I can see that. Okay, so... Women's World Cup, what's your pick?
Well, for those that want to hear you and I analyze it for 90 minutes, you can go on soccer.com on Spreaker and download the Soccer Down Here app, available both on iOS and Android.
Yes.
And listen to all of our shows. Know when we're live. Know when we have a show that's up that has either a 1v1 or one of our specialty programs. But I had it being England over Germany, I believe, in the final. And I had France beating Australia for third place.
Okay, I had France beating Australia in the final, and I had England beating the Netherlands for third place. What are you going to watch the most of this summer? Women's World Cup,
Yes.
Copa America, Gold Cup.
All the above.
Which one?
All the above.
No, there's one you're going to watch more of.
No.
Yes.
No.
There's more games in the Women's World Cup.
Then by default, I guess it would be the Women's World Cup.
Right, answer.
But I will be watching all three competitions practically simultaneously.
Copa America and Gold Cup you will. Yeah, they'll be at the same time. The Women's World Cup will be earlier in the day, so you'll be good to go there.
Office HD will be completely and totally wall-to-wall football. This is not a surprise.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
And Daniel Price wants me to have a cookout if the U20s make it to the final.
Yes, and I'm bringing takeout because I've heard you talk about cooking steak, and it frightens me. It terrifies me.
Yes, as I stare at the boss and she's laughing at that comment.
She would bring takeout too. Yeah. See, yeah. You have now
convinced my wife. You've now convinced my wife that it is no longer relevant for me to do any kind of cooking whatsoever, or if I do, I take my own health into my own hands, and that she's just going to bring takeout, you're going to bring takeout, and faithful SDH listener Daniel Price is going to bring takeout. So anybody that wants to come over to Office HD at any given moment, if they treasure their health, then apparently you're just going to have to bring your own food and not worry about anything like that whatsoever.
All right, couple announcements. Last call for beer. So get your beer now. Last call is officially
for the
in
kids.
13 minutes. Drink
for
beer
the kids.
for the kids. And if you're a U.S. men's national team fan, you might need another beer because it's Jamaica 1, U.S. 0. So get your drinks for the kids.
0.
That's number one. Last call for raffle tickets is right now. We're about to pull a winner for that. But last call for beer is 8:55. So now you're at 12 minutes. And I had to get one myself. Because the U.S. is really bad right now.
And you can also get your raffle tickets online still, correct?
You can get your raffle tickets online if you do it right now.
Oh, Jess is having problems. We need a paper product to help the man out for spillage. You could use the groups. All right.
I'm not going to put a beer on the Juve logo. That would be sacrilege. Wouldn't for Nick Alifi, but it would.
What other random questions were you giving people?
No, that's it. That's the questions that I had.
Excelente. Very nice.
All right, so you get to ask a random question. Go.
Well, this is a question that I have to think about because you're killing time making sure that nothing spills in between now and the time that you return to the microphone.
We're killing time for people to spend more money on raffle tickets as
okay.
well.
All right.
Because it's for
Here
the
we
kids.
Go. You have, better than a buddy pass, you have a carte blanche plane ticket
Okay.
for any matchup in the world, your dream matchup to go to without any repercussion whatsoever. You have a tremendous seat. You have a plane ticket. Where do you go?
I would go to an Argentina-Brazil World Cup qualifier in Buenos Aires.
Okay.
Other close ones that I thought of, Barca, Real Madrid, a Clásico.
Camp Nou or Bernabeu?
U.S. and Mexico at the Azteca, for sure. Although that game's not going to be as meaningful now that they're changing the World Cup qualifying procedures. I think it would be Argentina-Brazil in a qualifier, like in a game that means something in Argentina. That would be the one that never seen, never been anywhere near, and that would be my golden ticket.
Okay. What about something with, say, Boca Juniors and River Plate?
I mean, I'm not as emotionally connected to any of them. That'd be a great one, but I'd rather see Argentina-Brazil. I mean, for me, my touchstone was
Maradona,
the national team, and it was Argentina in '86, and that's why when this Amazon Prime video comes
treasure
up
trove
called Hero, Michael Caine narrated it, which is just baffling to me. And they're kind of jumping all over the place.
Never underestimate the Germans.
But the slow-mo stuff of Diego Maradona in the 1986 World Cup before cocaine had completely ravaged the man, unbelievable. The best performance in a tournament ever. Nobody's going to touch that one, I don't think.
I'm Michael Caine. Enjoy Diego Maradona.
Well, Diego Maradona now has offered his services to Manchester United.
Yes.
If you didn't see that, he said, hey, Manchester United needs to win trophies. I can help you do that.
I'm for it.
Oh, I'm all for the chaos. I don't know if it's a good plan if you're Manchester United.
Uh-oh. Who's being taken off here?
It could be a little gamesmanship.
Okay, because I saw the Red Cross go out and I was concerned.
Well, when you're sitting and looking at the stretcher coming and laughing, that usually gives it away. Could result in an additional card.
Yes. To answer the question that I gave you, yes. I have a list. One of them is Old Firm, just to see it. I'm sure that Jared Smith enjoyed that answer. Celtic and Rangers, I'd love to see that one.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Boca and River Plate if I knew that I could get out alive.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big part of it.
And then, you get into international competitions, things like that, but I think those would be the two, and then there's obviously like a Premier League thing, one way or the other. But for me, I would end up going to see one of our League Two matchups or something like that with one of the teams that we're invested in.
How many of them are there now?
We have, the way that we started it out, it was one per classification. We had Swansea City, who was
but they move up and down.
Right. And so now we had it plotted tremendously where we had one at each level of the pyramid.
Yeah.
But then you had the promotion relegation thing happen. But it is Swansea City, Scunthorpe, Portsmouth, and AFC Wimbledon.
Okay. And what levels are they in now?
Championship League 1 and League 2.
Two of them in which one?
I think two of them are in League 1.
Okay. All right.
And AFC Wimbledon survived on the next to last match week of the season to avoid being relegated.
Okay. All right. The raffle ticket purchasing is officially closed.
Closed.
And we're going to pull a winner now.
Pull a winner. Oh, so you want me to pull a winner? You want me to do it?
Pull. No, because I'm conducting the draw. I'm not going to buy a raffle ticket. I don't want any shenanigans to
I didn't buy one either.
Accused of. All right, then you pull.
Then I'll pull it.
You don't have to be present to win.
Because especially if you did it online.
Yes.
If you did the .org thing. I'll just turn. How about that?
That's a whole lot of tickets over there.
It is. All right, I have a ticket here in my hand.
Hashtag for the kids.
Beer drinking for the
There is
kids.
no name on it, so I'm assuming they are here. 019159. 019159. Okay, it is being regifted. You have another chance.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the guy who won already gets free beer for life, so he doesn't need 90 free beers. He's good.
Okay. As Jess stirs the salad bowl here. Well, that's good, though. Heavy is good.
All right.
All right. I have the new ticket. I'm presenting it to Mr. Longshore.
There's no name on it, so that's a good sign.
Which means they're here.
019166.
Oh, same grouping.
019166.
Any?
Okay, well, yeah, we'll give it a couple seconds. 019166. Going once. Going twice.
See ya!
All right, we'll see if we get a winner this time.
All right, here we go.
We're trying to give away free beer, people.
I know. Come on.
90 free beers. A lot of free
beers.
beers.
There's a lot of beer there.
Frank the Tank would be very good at this. All right.
We have a name.
We have a name. And it is Michael Valverde.
Wow.
Michael Valverde. I do know who that is.
Yeah, we know who
and
that is.
he was here.
Yes,
I saw
he was.
him, and I saw him buy tickets.
Yes.
172 was the final three numbers. Michael Valverde is your winner. Sorry, y'all.
Everyone go make friends with Michael Valverde.
Yes,
he gets 30 people to come out.
Yes, I believe on Twitter he is content mined, so if he gets a whole bunch of followers, he can blame me. But he's going to have a lot of beers to give away.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov to Mr. Valverde. 9 minutes until last call. Finish your beers, get your beers. All the money goes for the kids. Thank you to Eventide for supporting soccer in the streets.
Yes.
Thank you to all of you for coming out and supporting soccer in the streets and drinking for the kids.
Yes. Hashtag drinking for the kids.
There's no better way to spend a Wednesday
Than drinking for the kids.
Sunday is the ATL Champions League. You can still volunteer to help out on the day. These events take a lot of time, a lot of logistics, a lot of help is needed. Reach out to Jess. Reach out at soccerstreets.org if you're interested in volunteering. It's going to be at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground, Atlanta United's home base, and you will get a chance to help out and really see directly the impact on the kids that are involved. Thanks to everybody for coming out. See you guys on Sunday.
Mucho plata, y'all.